Welcome back, guys, to this very special episode of No Offers with the boys back. And I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about all these countries saying we're not going to use the dollar no more?
Oh, you're talking about BRICS?
BRICS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does BRICS stand for again? It's Brazil.
Brazil, Russia, India, and China. I don't know if any of
Brazil
them.
is El Salvador.
I don't know. I just know that it's Brazil, Russia, India, and China.
Well, this one thing they're doing is they're using the gold. They're backing up the currency with gold.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least
we use
it's.
them as-
But the thing is, look at Brazil's economy, bro, and Russia's economy right now in the toilet. India and China is having border war for the first time in like forever. Someone actually died on both sides.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's like a bunch of frenemies teaming up. Maybe it'll work out in the beginning, but I don't think it's gonna.
You don't think it's something that will last? I mean,
Yeah.
it's been something for a couple years now, not to the extent of them being on the news, but it's been a thing for a while now.
I mean, if they really, really want like a strong ally in that alliance, probably if they could get in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, Saudi Arabia, isn't that one of the countries who also decided not to
Yeah.
keep up with?
They announced that they'll slow down the oil production.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely a lot of allies turning, can't say enemies, but definitely
Independent.
yeah.
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 It's interesting though. Mexico applied to become part of BRICS.
Yeah, that's interesting right
Yeah,
there.
so.
Because as soon as that came out, I just heard a lot of Texas politicians saying we should go invade Mexico. Well, not like that, but they said we should use some of our military forces to help them out with their issue down there. Of course, that's what they said as soon as.
They say everything. It's always the Mexican votes, the Hispanic votes that they like.
That they want.
They
The
want.
Hispanic population's the majority now in Texas, no?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
I heard it was. So I was like, that's what Texas is,
But the thing is, bro, Asians and like Mexicans, Hispanic, like once they make enough money, they vote against like their own kind. They think
Yeah.
they think
They really be your own people sometimes.
So
So,
fucking sad, huh?
yeah.
What do you think that there's a right? Because I feel like there's a couple people that are panicking, and they're like, "What's gonna happen to my dollar?" Do you think that's something that should
Buy
people be
gold
panicking?
then. Buy gold.
I think
If they're worried about the dollars, then buy gold. Cause like okay, if the BRICS, which uses gold to back up their currency, if they successfully tank the USD, why don't you just buy gold right now when the USD is still high and
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anything crazy is gonna happen.
Mm.
I mean, the British pound was the #1 currency in the world at one point, and when everyone switched to the dollar, it's not like
it's still,
they're a super. It's not like they're a super poor country now or like anything like that. The UK, Britain, they're still a strong country with a good economy.
don't know what the good economy part after Brexit, but sure.
Oh yeah, but that happened in I think World War II. So, Brexit is something that happened like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So
I think it's been over like 3 years now. No, it's been longer than that.
yeah, because I had like a case study on it like back in high school maybe.
Yeah.
So it's been a while, but that time period from like World War II to Brexit, it's not like they had any issues with their currency.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the stuff that's happening now, where like Brexit, like all this stuff happens because of baby boomer, bro, making all this big decision. Then like this current generation to get screwed over, one way or another.
Yeah, because Brexit didn't even benefit them at all. Some of them want to go back.
I mean, I think for Brexit, it's kind of weird because what I've read is that they let the people decide without really explaining to them like what's the consequences of Brexit. So, I mean, like, the one time they give power to the people, they don't explain much.
Well, should it be the government's job to explain things to the people?
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't you be informed before on decisions you're gonna make?
I mean, they should have enough information that they can do it themselves.
Especially now that we have like internet, like shouldn't you do your research before you make a decision?
But this is like something that affects the whole country. So it's the government's job. Like if it affects the whole country, right? And it should be the government's job to give the people a certain amount of information, right? Because people aren't going to look at the referendum, like the contracts between the EU versus the UK, right?
What would you suggest? A course? A class?
No, they should tell.
A worldwide news?
You know how when we go
News
voting
channel? Yeah.
for like propositions,
Mhm.
like when you vote, they actually have like a little snippet.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
some of it's not.
And then even that's like a little helpful.
Yeah.
You know, it tells you exactly what like a high level of
Yeah.
the proposition.
It gives you what the proposition is, but it doesn't really give you how it's going to affect other aspects of
That's true. That's more
of
of a
it,
critical
right?
thinking.
So that's kind of something that you got to do. I feel like that's something you got to do yourself before.
Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like Brexit happened similarly to how like a lot of the political stuff happened in the US at the time, where there's a lot of political anger, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
turmoil, and people vote with their feelings and not their head. So that's how they got into the mess they got now. Because like, I think we talked about this in the earlier podcast that like there are certain parts of the UK struggles for, I guess, food.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. And I think there's also like the conflict between the UK and Ireland or something like that. I didn't do my full research, but it has to do something with like the Good Friday Agreement, where they got, before that agreement, I think it got really violent. So
Because they're part of the UK, right?
yeah,
Part of England. I mean, part of Ireland.
yeah.
That's very interesting.
So like,
For that's the old world right there.
yeah. I mean, like overall, like off this like unstable
Yeah.
crap, just makes it harder for people to look for jobs and find work, or even if you do have work, it feels a little, people get a little nervous, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially since right now, people don't. I don't know. There's like COVID still going on, right? But like people don't treat it like it's a weird transition where people don't know what aspect we're in.
Of
Right.
what, of COVID?
Yeah, like is it declared over now? Pretty much is, like based on when you go out, right?
Well, there's still, in terms of like the lockdown, of course that's over, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
in terms of like that still being out there, it is. But from my understanding, is the strong cases of COVID
Mm-hmm.
died with the host, right?
Mhm.
Scientifically speaking,
Mhm.
and then the other strains are the ones that are still out there.
Yeah, but like speaking wise, like certain companies treat it as if like COVID is still the number one issue for them, right? And then
And what do you mean?
where
Like in terms of taking care of product, like for a food company, or were you?
As in, so certain company transition saying like, okay, it's pretty much over, right? So everyone should go back to work.
Oh, you're
Like
talking about
regular
like
schedule and stuff like
office,
that. Yeah. And then like for certain companies, like they still use like precautions during peak COVID time.
Mhm.
So like it's just kind of odd, like how.
Well, I think nowadays it's not very. I don't think it's very COVID centered no more. I think it's just a lifestyle now. Like people's lifestyle from how much it's changed now to how it was before. How back then you had to go to the office
Mm-hmm.
Monday to Friday, and then you had to switch to being an in-person. I mean, an at-home worker,
Yeah.
and then they're getting the job done. They're doing that. There's a lot of workers who their first job was just at-home work, right?
Yeah.
So now it comes to the whole thing about people remember how it was in the old days, but there's people saying like, we're doing the same work,
Yeah.
right?
What the thing?
So I think it's a lifestyle thing now.
Yeah, I mean, like I went to church. When I go to church, right? There's this part where you make peace with everyone and you shake everyone's hands.
That went away.
Yeah. That went away.
Yeah.
We just go.
Yeah, that's
We
I
just
remember
wave
that.
at them to our neighbors, right? And it's a lifestyle. I don't see it anytime changing back to like where we shake each other's hands anytime soon. But yeah, and then you go to like hospitals or clinics, they still make you wear a mask,
right.
Yeah.
even if you don't have it, or I mean it's a courtesy, I guess, to everyone else, right?
Which
Yeah.
I feel like those make sense, right? If you go to like a clinic, I remember going as a kid, it was usually because I had a cough or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
So it makes sense to where,
Now they stop here. It's like, oh, please wear a mask.
yeah, something that I see totally different now too is, and it makes sense for them to continue it, is like having food workers wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like that in that industry it should continue.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't want someone sneezing on my food or doing one of these and then coming back to my food, you know?
Yeah.
I would want them to have the mask kind of similar to how they're required to have a hat or something to cover the hair, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's also an industry where, that makes sense. We should keep it like that.
Yeah. I think that's the one thing I like about the one of the positives that came out with COVID, cleanliness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone knows how to wash their hands. Even
Yeah.
though-
Like, I still use, like, hand sanitizer all the time.
Oh
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
another
yeah.
thing.
And that's something that
the
don't
use of
change.
hand sanitizer went up.
Yeah, like I use it all the time. Like, I get out of my house, I go in my car, I use hand sanitizer, right, for
Yeah.
touching the doors. I get out, do something, and go back in my car, hand sanitizer. Like, it's just something that it's like a lifestyle change
Yeah,
now, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, cleanliness, I guess, is something that really changed.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean,
Carrying little hand sanitizer everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scented ones or unscented ones. I remember that with Southern back in the day.
yeah.
Because my sister has always been big on that, even before,
Yeah.
like COVID. But now it's just like everyone uses them now. At least in the city, you know. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
some rural parts.
But do you think that will lead to a super virus?
Where like everyone is so sterile.
Everyone's
Sterilized,
so
yeah.
the virus grows resistance to.
That's
Eat dirt once in a while, bro. There
know.
you go.
Like, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, fuck. Like, we're doing all this like cleanliness, but like kids nowadays,
Kids still get sick though.
yeah, they get
Yeah.
sick. But I mean, how many? Like, we're so worried about like their knees and stuff that like using Neosporin, you know.
You
But
know.
then we just fucking either get
'Cause-
some alcohol and just dump it, and they're good for them, you know.
And the
Because kids in school, they're still falling down,
Yeah.
touching food, touching everything. Like,
Yeah,
they're
right.
still getting sick.
Kids are nasty, bro. I don't know if you remember it.
Yeah. But I mean, back then we didn't give a fuck.
No amount
No,
I'm
of
pretty sure kids
We
nowadays.
couldn't even afford hand sanitizer when we were kids, bro.